welcome to the second episode of Essential English Study Guides. I am Miss V, and if you're looking for a series of videos designed to help you understand those pesky English topics that sometimes send your brain into a spin, then you're in the right place. Last time we went into depth about unpacking representations and what they are, and how you find them in a visual text. Today, I want to do a quick recap, but I honestly mainly want to focus on unpacking written text. And I want to show you how to find those representations by doing my favorite thing, which is reading between the lines. Now, last time we went through this in much greater detail. So if you do want to have more depth about this definition, then please go back to my last video. But I really need you to remember this term. It's super important. Representation, representation, representation. It is literally what half of Essential English is based upon. So we know it's important. Representation. Last lesson, we broke it down, and we kind of know that it's that idea of presenting topics in a certain way. The authors and creators of texts have used various tools and devices to create a text that represents topics to get specific ideas across. So let's have a look at an example of what it might look like in a written text. Now, a couple of years ago, I wrote a blog post. Now, this blog post looked like this, and this was for the CIA of that year. So my students got this under practice exam conditions. Now, the topic that year was gaming. So when we look at our very first question, which we need to think about when we see a text, is what is this particular text about? So in this case, what is the blog about? And the answer is gaming. So now we need to look at, well, how is gaming represented? For the purpose of this video, I'm only going to take you through a couple of excerpts from the blog, because deconstructing the whole blog in depth is going to take a lot longer than what I really want to do in this video. It might take 10 to 15 minutes depending on how good you're going with representation. So I don't really want it that long. So let's just start off with an excerpt. So I've just pulled this. This is, as you might be able to see, it's actually just the title and one of those dot points that are underneath the title. What you need to do is ask yourself, how is this author representing this topic? So I'm going to read this paragraph. I'm going to read it all out, and I want you to think to yourself, how are the ideas of gaming, this concept of gaming, the topic of gaming, how is that being presented to us as an audience? Like, how is the author trying to get across? Again, I like to think of that idea of positive or negative. So I want you to think, is it positive, is it negative, and how it's going to be put across. Maybe write it down in your book, write down why, but just have a think about it for now. So I'm going to read it out to you. So it says, unlocking the power of gaming, leveling up your life. There was an introduction on the actual thing, but the excerpt from this one is that first dot point, which is number 1, mental gymnastics. Gaming isn't just entertainment, it's a mental workout that challenges your cognitive skills. Just like a gym buffs up your muscles, gaming flexes your brain, enhancing problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and strategic planning. Imagine your brain as a nimble ninja, effortlessly navigating through complex puzzles and outsmarting virtual foes. What do you reckon? Like, there's a lot in there to unpack, right? But I just don't see it as inherently negative, right? It's positive. It's a pretty positive one. So the author in this particular case is representing the topic of gaming positively. So I want you to think about now, what's more depth that we can describe that? Because positive is one thing, and you could write that down as an answer, but honestly, you can do better than that. So let's have a think. I want you to think about this representation. We really have to find some clues in our thing, right? So let's pull out our handy dandy metaphorical magnifying glass. Let's look at some clues. We're going to be a little bit of a detective here and find some clues in this. So I think that this is full of some pretty strong language right from the get-go. Leveling up your life, I mean, that tells you a lot about how this author is representing gaming, right? I guess to me, he kind of wants us to understand gaming as a way to improve ourselves. That's why he's used that language of leveling up your life. Now, what about this part here, right? So we've got gaming as a way to improve ourselves. And what about this part here? It uses both a simile and rule of three. They're saying just like a gym buffs your muscles, buffs up your muscles, gaming flexes your brain, enhancing problem solving, critical thinking, strategic planning, right? So we're using some really strong language there. So he's really trying to represent or, represent gaming as kind of like a brain training type of thing, right? Like it's super clear that he wants us to be thinking about gaming as such important thing for our brains. And honestly, while we're going to look into text structures, language features, and ideas and opinions in other videos, I think you can already start to see that some of the language choices, some of the choices that the authors are making, can actually create these representations and make us understand them a bit stronger. So I'm going to be taking you through those ideas in later videos, but for today, just with representation, just this small section of the text already has two ways that gaming is represented. Gaming is a way to improve ourselves, and gaming is brain training. So let's have a look at another excerpt. This one here. So we've got escaping reality, expanding our horizons. I actually want you to give this one a go on your own, right? It's still from the same article. It's given other reasons, and this is the third dot point. It's just a different excerpt. So I want you to be able to think about maybe one or two ways that gaming is represented in this. Once I'm finished reading, I want you to pause and I want you to write down what you think the representations are. And I also want you to write down what the evidence and justification is that you have. So what is the point? What are the words on this page that are telling you that it's the representation? And why is it telling you that? Okay, so this is the excerpt. It says, number 3, escaping reality, expanding horizons. In the vast universe of gaming, you're not confined by the limits of reality. You're free to explore fantastic realms and embark on epic adventures. Gaming is a portal to worlds brimming with imagination and wonder, offering an escape from the mundane and a chance to expand your horizons. It's like embarking on a grand quest where every twist and turn unveils new treasures and discoveries. All right, how is the author representing this topic? Do a quick pause now, write it down, maybe discuss it as a class or as a teacher or with a friend. Press go when you're ready to go. All right, welcome back. What did you get? How did you find? Now, there's lots of different things that you could be looking here, and maybe you're looking at things about the idea of gaming being an escape, or gaming being a way to cope with mental health problems, or maybe it's a way to use your brain to be creative. All of those are kind of correct, honestly. And those are all ways that as long as you can justify it, then I think you're fine. Like to me, a representation is what you're kind of getting from it. So to me, as long as you can justify what you're talking about and what you're pulling from the text, you're okay. Okay, and there's lots of things that you can sink your teeth into there. So if you're not sure if you're correct, double check your justification with your teacher. Write a comment if you really want to on the video. See how we go. But what did you get? All right. Again, thank you so much for watching today. I hope these videos are helping. My next video, I'm going to start unpacking those dreaded text structures. See you then.